Passion, drive, persistence, resilience, love. All qualities that shape and define us. Join the Cyber Warrior as he helps shape your path. This is Walk With Me. Welcome back to Walk With Me, a cyberwarriorstudios production. I'm your host on this journey, the Cyber Warrior. Now, today I want to talk to you about two different things. Expectations and opportunities. And these can kind of go hand in hand. You see, in our lives, we expect a lot of things, right? We expect all of our plans to just succeed. We expect our goals to just work out in the time frames that we set. But here's the problem with that, is not everything is going to work out the way you planned. Sometimes it works out the way it was meant to. And a lot of people don't like to hear that, right? A lot of people don't like to understand that the choices we make, the things we decide to do, the lives that we live, sometimes things just fall the way they fall. Regardless of what you believe, regardless of your faith, regardless of whether or not you have any faith, it doesn't matter. You sometimes just got to let the chips fall the way they may. But there is a way to combat that, and that is setting realistic expectations. So realistically, if you want to get a degree, let's just say, you cannot expect to get a degree in a week. You know, based on syllabus, credits, when course offerings and everything else, it's going to take time, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 4 years, whatever the case may be. If you want to get a job, you may expect to have a job in whatever career field as soon as you get out of school or as soon as you start applying. But realistically, it doesn't always happen that way. So you need to start setting realistic expectations. Now, if you want to go for something in your chosen industry, like a certification or more training, then you can do the math. You can decide how much it's going to take to save up for that. You can decide how much it's going to take to make that happen and whether or not it needs to be a company funded thing or you can do it yourself. It would just take more time and you can figure that out. But you have to also account for the fact that emergencies come up and things are going to happen that are going to sidetrack you. So you need to make sure that you're ready for that because things happen. Nothing works out the way you expect it to a lot of the time. A lot of the time, you just have to go at it and plan for the best. Actually, you plan for the worst and hope for the best. So you have a plan A, a plan B, and then when you have a plan for when everything fails. And that's not to say it's going to fail. That's just to say that you should always be planning ahead and expect things to fail. Because if you don't expect them to fail and you think it's just going to work out, it's a detriment to your health and your mental health. Because if it does fail, then you haven't planned for that. You haven't expected that to happen. So you have to manage your expectations. You have to really plan for things to fail. And that's not a bad thing. That's not saying that you think it's going to. That's just in worst case scenario, if X, Y, and Z happens, then this is how we're going to deal with it. This is how I'm going to deal with it. And that's how you manage your expectations. You manage them in such a way that if things go sideways, if an emergency comes up, if something happens, you're prepared. And that's the biggest thing. When we expect things to always go our way, a lot of times we're not prepared. We're not ready for it when it doesn't go our way. And that's a very bad way to go about things. You have to be ready for anything. Anything. A lot of people don't like to hear that. They like to think that things are just going to work out. And look, I'm a huge proponent of the decisions you make dictate your life. But there are things that are going to happen in our lives that are outside of our control. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Sometimes things just happen. You can wreck your car. You can get rear-ended. You can, I don't know, get a flat tire. You can, countless things can interfere with our daily lives. Your fridge can die. I know. You can have issues at your house. with a rental property. You can lose food. So you always have to expect things to go sideways because a lot of times it's going to eventually happen. And if you're not planning for it, then it can really wear on you because you tend to think, oh, all this stuff is happening to me. When it rains, it pours and all this other stuff. But if you prepare for things to go sideways, if you manage your expectations in such a way that I'm going to plan for success, but I'm going to plan for failure also. I'm going to manage my timeline and set realistic expectations that this is going to take me 6 months, a year, 3 years, 4 years, not 2 weeks. If you do all of these things, then mentally it makes it a lot easier to deal with any given situation. Now, with expectations, this is where I'm going to kind of divert into our second topic, which is opportunities. You see, a lot of people these days, in my eyes, from what I've seen, expect things to be handed to them. They expect to graduate college and immediately land a job, which, don't get me wrong, should be easy to find, you would think. But we see the way careers are, we see the way hiring is. And so you manage your expectations, and so you don't expect that. You work for it. And a lot of people don't like to hear that. When you look at the reality of the hiring in a lot of industries, there's a lot of people not getting hired right out of college. It takes work. It takes sometimes 6 months, a year, for some people, 18 months to 2 years. So you have to expect that. But why this matters for opportunity is because sometimes you have to make your own opportunities. And I've talked about this before. You know, a lot of times we want to wait for that door to open for us, right? They say when one door closes, another door opens. So you graduate college, that door is now closed. You're now done with college. You expect another door to open. Create your own opportunities, kick down doors, make things happen for you. You decide your life. You decide what route you're going to go. You decide if you're going to work for it or if you're going to give up. You decide. Nobody can decide that for you. Nobody can make that choice for you. And if you let someone make that choice for you, you have already given them way more power over you than they deserve. But maybe you don't deserve that power because you gave up. You need to start seizing the opportunity while it's there because there's a lot of opportunities out there to get at the ground floor, to get out certain industries. Not all, but certain ones. I don't know. Maybe you need to go work for a small startup company for a little while. I get it, you don't trust them, but it might be easier to find a job there for less money than to go work for some huge corporation because you're chasing money and not opportunity. The opportunity is there for you to learn, for you to grow. The opportunity is there for you to take advantage of a lot of different situations. But are you actually going for that opportunity? Are you actually trying to kick down doors? Are you actually trying to make a name for yourself? Or are you allowing other people to dictate your life? And that's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people because a lot of people expect to just be handed opportunity. They expect to be handed jobs. They expect to be handed so much. I personally didn't get anywhere without working for it, whether that was in the military or in other organizations. I worked for it. I got education. I got certifications. I did my own learning on the side. I put in a lot of effort for where I wanted to be in my career. Nothing was handed to me. I had a network. I had to connect with people. I had to put myself out there. I kicked down doors. I made a name for myself. So if you're not making a name for yourself, if you're not kicking down doors, if you're not making the opportunity for you, then what are you doing? Truly, what are you doing? Because I look at it and I look at the way we are as humanity right now. I look at the way we are as a society. I try to analyze as much as humanly possible so I can give the best advice, so that I can help out as much as possible. And the biggest thing I have found, the biggest detriment to so many people has been expecting opportunity to just be handed to them. And when it's not handed to them, they complain about it or they come up with a reason. They come up with an excuse of why this didn't work out. But let's be honest with ourselves. Let's be honest with who we are and say, I didn't put in the effort. I didn't reach out to that hiring manager. I did not get that certification. I did not build that lab. I did not put forth my best effort to earn this opportunity. I did not. And I think that is where we fall short. I think so much of what we do in our lives, we are now expecting people to just hand us things. And I get it. You don't like to hear that. A lot of people don't. But in this world, everything is earned. You earn jobs, you earn your career, you earn everything. Nothing is handed to you. And I know people don't like that, but you need to understand that that's the way it is. So when you're looking at opportunity, when you're looking at what you want in this life, when you're setting your expectations, you need to seize the opportunities in front of you. Maybe the door's not open. Maybe you need to kick it down. Maybe it's just open a crack and you need to stick your foot in there and make sure it doesn't close and you need to slam it open and you need to get it. It's on you. Nobody else. Nobody can make you take advantage of an opportunity. Nobody can make you do anything. You make your choices in life. You decide how you want to live. You decide the opportunities you're going to take. You decide the expectations you're going to set for yourself. But realize that if you set an expectation, especially an expectation with a deadline, you better make it realistic. Because if you don't, you are going to do a lot of damage to your mental health if you don't meet those deadlines. Now, saying that, look, this is Walk With Me, and you know, because this is released every Odin's Day, and it's all about wisdom. Let me give you a little bit of advice. Let me give you a little bit of wisdom beyond what this show is. And that is this: no matter what happens in your life, no matter what decisions you make or don't make, no matter what opportunities you take or don't take, there is always time to change. There is always time to do better. You can live in the past and let it haunt you, or you can make a difference now. You determine your future. Don't let anybody else determine it for you. Now, otherwise, I love you all. And for those that don't know, maybe you don't follow me on social media, maybe you haven't heard in my other videos, but you're all my warriors. You are all amazing and you're all beautiful people. I want you to all take care on this Odin's Day or whenever you happen to be listening and or watching this. And I want you to understand that if you ever need someone to talk to, you can talk to me. Now, otherwise, you can check the show notes, the description of this video, or anywhere else. You can find all the ways to support this channel, buy some awesome merchandise, and everything else. And I will talk to you all next time. For this has been another episode of Walk With Me, a Cyber Warrior Studios production. And as always, I'm your host on this journey, the Cyber Warrior. Take care.